And breaking news next on Fox 35 News at 10. Another flight made at an airport in Florida. Why every passenger in one terminal is being forced to go through security again.
Plus, selfies and sharks. You may be surprised to hear which one is more dangerous. We are debunking shark myths next on Fox 35 News.
Fox 35 News at 10 starts with man versus predator.
I saw my foot in its mouth and it dragged me under.
But that local surfer isn't the only one with memories of that day.
That is the worst call for a mom to get.
Are you safe in the water? We'll debunk the top 3 shark myths when Florida attacks.
Plus, PlayStation pandemonium. Hundreds of people go wild over the gaming console. How police fought the crowd.
Video showing a car going airborne and hitting a house. How this crash landed a guest spot in a blogger video.
And I'm tracking the likelihood of big thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. I'll map it out for you so we can plan for the weekend.
Plus, beauty queen heartbreak after a tragedy in Orlando. The exclusive interview from the mother of the model.
And new details after a child falls from a roller coaster.
I don't know what I would do if it was my own child.
And that is our top story tonight. That 6-year-old little boy has critical injuries. Fox 35 investigates what's next in this situation. We have some new insight on what investigators are going to be focusing on to figure out how this happened.
Also new tonight, an intense look at that ride. This video puts you right inside one of those carts. And Fox 35's Manny Martinez is live in front of that ride at Fun Spot in Kissimmee. Manny, that ride is still closed tonight.
Yes, it is, Ryan. This is the Galaxy Spin here behind me. It opened at the park in 2011, and it's where the boy fell. And while the rest of the park we'll show you is open and bright and busy on a Friday night, right now no one's allowed on this ride. The boy was taken to Arnold Palmer Hospital. We're working to learn his exact condition right now. And Fun Spot says that this ride here won't reopen until it's 100% certain this won't happen again. Live tonight in Kissimmee, Manny Martinez, Fox 35 News.
Manny, thanks. Still a lot of questions tonight. Of course, this comes as many in Central Florida are reeling from last year's tragedy at Icon Park. 14-year-old Tyrese Sampson falling to his death from the Orlando free fall. State officials found that Sampson's seatbelt was manually adjusted to fit larger riders, making it unsafe. State lawmakers did pass the Tyrese Sampson Act. That was earlier this year. It toughens regulations on statewide rides. It also increases regulations and inspections of any ride modifications.
We are following some breaking news right now. All passengers at one terminal at Tampa International Airport are being forced to leave their gates and go through security for a second time. The airport tweeted that they are doing it out of an abundance of caution and that there is no threat to safety. But this is causing some major delays at the airport while people are forced to wait in line again at TSA.
We were over in the security line, getting ready to put our bags through. They shut security down and we all just kind of stood there for a minute while they were looking for something. They were taking out the containers and looking through the containers. They were actively looking for something while also patting somebody down that was on the other side multiple times and putting them through the scanner multiple times.
And we just got confirmation about 5 minutes ago that one person is now in custody. We are still waiting to find out exactly what sparked this whole situation.
And we saw storms roll across Central Florida, including Daytona Beach, and some lingered late into the evening as well. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Garner joining us now.
Brooks, good evening. This is a preview of our weekend, huh?
Yeah, for better or for worse, but I guess for better, it's all going to happen in the afternoons. But anytime in the morning will be fine. Afternoons, all bets off. Right now, we've still got a little bit of rain on the radar right now, just some lingering showers to the east, but the big stuff happening right now, Levy County heading down towards Citrus County. These were once severe storms earlier when they were in Dixie County near Cross City with wind gusts over 60. Now they're dissipating, but still bringing a little bit of rain to our Gulf Coast counties there for our Fox 51 WOGX sister station viewers. A couple of sprinkles hanging on here around Christmas, but by and large, we're done with the rain for the night. And indeed, future clouds and radar, courtesy of our exclusive Fox model, detailing a beautiful start to the day tomorrow. But once we hit about 3 o'clock, the pop-up showers and storms begin. They'll continue lingering around the area through 5, 6 o'clock, maybe interacting with the sea breeze as it rolls in toward 5, bringing rain to the beaches. So heads up for the afternoon tomorrow at the beaches. The storms are not going to stay west of A1A and west of 95 as they often do from the sea breeze. In fact, they're going to work right onto the sand. So if you see the skies getting dark at the beaches, be ready to head for the car. Chance for rain tomorrow, 70% chance. Otherwise, in the morning, looking great. 2 to 3 foot waves, onshore flow about 10 miles an hour. 84 degree is the water temperature. It's really, really nice out there. Feels nice, refreshing, but not too hot, not too cold. It's just right. 78 in Sanford right now, 82 in Kissimmee if you're heading out tonight. We've got a forecast featuring changes ahead. This is all part of a big pattern change. Here we are in the dark of night with an approaching airplane here at Sanford International Airport. Guys, coming up, we'll talk about next week, because that's the one thing about this pattern that's so weird, is that we're in the middle of the summertime, yet we're seeing some big changes.
All right, Brooks, thank you. Pandemonium in Manhattan. Hundreds of people gathered for a chance to win a free PlayStation from a viral star.
Yeah, things got out of hand in a hurry. At one point, people were throwing rocks, bottles. Some even climbed on top of a moving car and were jumping on it. Fox 35's Madeline Rivera showing us just how wild things got.
Chaos in Manhattan as a mob of people swarmed the SUV of a video game influencer. But this was no protest. Twitch streamer Kai Cenat had advertised the gathering, promising a PlayStation giveaway.
Everything was peaceful for a long while, but then something happened.
The event spiraled out of control, turning violent.
Chairs being thrown, the construction from the train station, they started throwing the buckets, the paint cans.
The crowd of mostly young people destroying this car. As the horde of people grew, so did the number of authorities, with the New York Police Department issuing a level 4 mobilization, its highest level response.
We have encountered things like this before, but never to this level of dangerousness where young people would not listen to our commands.
At one point, the influencer's SUV was seen speeding through New York City, with some people hanging onto the car. Multiple people fell off. Several people were hurt in the pandemonium, including some police officers.
They ripped the fences and the police did come in and try to get them all out, but they started throwing bottles at the police.
I personally observed young people walking out with their heads bleeding from their heads.
Police were eventually able to break up the crowd and made several arrests. They also have Cenat in custody and are considering filing charges against him, including inciting a riot. Madeline Rivera, Fox 35 News.
A news alert now. A Venezuelan beauty queen and model was killed in a crash in Orange County. Troopers say her car collided with a semi.
This crash happened last month, and Fox 35's Stephanie Buckmonte joining us live in studio now. Stephanie, I know you spoke to her mother tonight.
And her family is, of course, devastated. 26-year-old Ariana Vieira had such a bright future that was cut short. Her family just heartbroken right now. Just so heartbreaking. Her mom says Vieira was also a dental assistant in Lake Nona, and she was studying in the dental program at Valencia College. In the studio, Stephanie Buckmonte, Fox 35 News.
Oh, Stephanie, thanks. So sad. Well, still ahead tonight, caught on camera, shocking video showing the moments an accused drunk driver hit a deputy. Why the sheriff saying this is part of a much bigger problem in his county.
Plus, you could soon be able to vote on if recreational marijuana should be legal here in Florida. But hear why the Attorney General is fighting to get it thrown off the ballot.
And Christmas trees and sharks. You might think you know which one is more dangerous, but
you're more likely to be killed by a Christmas tree than a shark.
We are debunking even more shark myths coming up next.
You made it to the weekend, and you're watching Fox 35 News at 10. We'll be right back.
When it comes to keeping people safe, we want you to depend on us, to trust us. We get the warning, we're first on, and we're last off. Depend on the Fox 35 Storm Team, built for Florida weather.
This is Tracking the Tropics. All is quiet across the Atlantic Basin. This is good news. No threats to Florida or the U.S. A couple of tropical waves, but they should be sheared apart before anything forms. Stay with me. I've got more on our weekend afternoon storms after this.
New tonight, man-eating monsters or smart survivalists. When it comes to sharks, everyone pretty much has an opinion.
No question, the animal gets a lot of attention, especially when it attacks a human, but experts say sharks are not on the hunt for human flesh. Fox 35's Esther Bauer is busting myths and breaking down why a shark may strike. Esther, thanks. By the way, experts say you can avoid an encounter by staying away from people fishing on shore. And they say when you're in the water, stand calmly and don't thrash around, or just do not act like an injured seal is their advice. By the way, you can find every story we cover when Florida attacks on the Fox Local app. If you've got Android TV, Apple TV, Fire TV, or Roku, all you have to do is search the app called Fox Local. On the app, you can watch our newscast. You can also see that it's jam-packed with stories and some great video out there also.
And Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Garner is back with us now.
It has been an eventful night. We had a lot of showers, and now the weekend is on tap. But could it be stormy is the question.
That's just it. You know, going back to the statistics, your chance of getting hit by lightning is going to be a whole lot higher than being attacked by a shark. But if you're going to the beaches, here's the irony. You're going to have sharks on one side, lightning on the other. So make sure you keep an eye to the sky, because that coming from the sky will be by far a much bigger threat. Right now, things are quiet here locally on Fox 35 Storm Tracker Radar, as they'll be tonight. We've got what's left of some thunderstorms now passing through Levy County, heading down into Citrus County. These were severe thunderstorms up in Dixie. So for our Fox 51 viewers, WOGX, still looking at some rain here along US 19 and heading down toward Crystal River, toward nuclear power plant down there. Our forecasts here are using our Fox model, our future clouds and radar, detailing a northwest flow aloft. And what that means is that when we start to catch some of the storms popping tomorrow afternoon, well, they're going to come in from the northwest, from Ocala, from the villages, and then they're going to bump up against the Atlantic sea breeze and become somewhat numerous during the afternoon. There's about a 70% chance for rain tomorrow, which will be a higher rain chance than what we saw today. By 4 o'clock, a good chance for it. And then a potential blossoming of storms as the sea breeze works inland just a bit. And that means that from Volusia County down through Brevard into Seminole County, eastern Orange, we could have quite the stormy afternoon and evening with storms lingering all the way to the beaches. And that's important to note through the afternoon. Oftentimes, with the sea breeze from the beach, it'll be sunny and you'll look inland and see all the storms. For tomorrow and for Sunday, storms that form inland will make it all the way to the beach. So make sure you have an escape plan to the car to beat the lightning. 77 degrees as you wake up early tomorrow, if you're waking up early. 79 at 8, 84 degrees at 10. A beautiful morning tomorrow. It'll be the afternoon that the storms develop, with numerous storms developing. A southwest flow means heat and humidity on the rise all weekend into next week. The sea breeze being the driving force for the storms each day into our extended forecast. But here's the big pattern shift. We've had an onshore southeast flow off the Atlantic for the last several days, and now with high pressure reorienting over the Bahamas, our winds will shift to the southwest, and that's the wind direction that's tapping all of that really deep tropical juice from down here in the southern Gulf of Mexico and transporting it right into Orlando. The bluish colors indicating the deepest tropical humidity, so it's going to get thick. This is air you can wear, and that will lead to thunderstorms and building humidity and just an overall swampy feel to the air this weekend into next week. So for yard work, I would do it in the morning. Otherwise, a 70% chance for both the afternoons of Saturday and Sunday, and it's still likely with a 60% chance on Monday if you don't get it done. Hey, if you're escaping all that reality and heading out to the water, open seas, 2 to 3 foot waves, a 9-second period on the swell, so there will be a little bit of a drop in the swells. I mean, you're not going to be constantly going up and down like you would be on the Gulf of Mexico. Not a long period swell, but not short either. A light chop out there on the Bay and Intracoastal waters. 84 degrees the water temperature. If you go out far enough, it's like 87 degrees, so it's really tepid out there. Really warm water. 77 the low tonight. No rain in the forecast for tomorrow. We'll top out at 93. Rain likely in the afternoon. Same story for Sunday. And looking ahead to next week. Next week's the first week of school. We got school starting on the 10th of August, and it's going to feel like the middle of summer. It's amazing to think about schools here in Florida before air conditioning became common. It would be a real sweaty start to the school year. It will be at least on the way into school and the way home. Luann, and right back to you.
No question about it, Brooks. Thanks. All right, still ahead. Former President Trump is already back on the campaign trail.
Why he thinks he will lock up the Oval Office if he's indicted again. Plus, you may have not believed this actually happened if it wasn't for one woman's YouTube video about sewing.
Good Day Orlando is all local, all morning.
With news across Central Florida.
And a neighborhood forecast to plan your day.
From 4 to 10 a.m., we focus on what's happening here.
Good Day Orlando.
All local, all morning.
on camera, a sewing blogger had an unexpected guest crash a recent recording for her YouTube channel. She heard a noise outside her home in Northport. She did not realize it at the time, but a car went airborne, landing in her yard. Police say the driver of that car ran a stop sign. Officers say a drainage ditch outside of that home saved them both from getting hurt.
The incline on the ditch, when she hit it, if it had been less of an incline, it would have launched her, and he said she probably would have hit the house.
The car stopped about 4 feet away from that house. The driver was given a ticket for running that stop sign. Her car has about $10,000 worth of damage. Yeah. And in Hillsborough County, a DUI driver is accused of blowing through a red light, injuring a deputy.
Yeah, that crash was caught on camera. Take a look. Yeah, the sound alone is intense. Tough to tell because the video is black and white at night, but the sheriff's office saying a motorcyclist ran the red light first, then the SUV drove right in front of a patrol car with lights and sirens on. So that 34-year-old was arrested for DUI. The deputy involved broke his wrist and will be off the job for up to 6 weeks.
It still baffles me in 2023 that people choose to drive while impaired. There are so many rideshare programs available. There is zero, absolutely zero excuse.
Yeah, it could have been much worse. To make matters worse, the sheriff's saying there were nearly 50 DUI arrests in Hillsborough County. That is just in the last 2 weeks.
Wow, that's surprising. Still ahead tonight, a local fisherman catches a flesh-eating bacteria. How he knew it was time to head to the ER.
And Florida could be closer than ever to legalizing recreational marijuana, but hear why the Attorney General thinks voters are being misled. We'll be right back.
Depend on Fox 35 News for learning about what's happening now and why.
For weather forecasts that get it right.
We are Fox 35. You can depend on us.
And developing tonight, an emergency at the Give Kids the World Village. 2 children rushed to the hospital after almost drowning.
That resort is for critically ill kids and their families. Fox 35's Connor Hansen shows us what we know so far. Connor, thank you. New details tonight. 2 people are now facing charges after several luxury vehicles were stolen right out of valets across Orange County. And now one of the victims is suing one of the valet companies. Cora Johnson is suing Right Away Valet and Parking for more than $20,000 worth of items she had inside her stolen car, plus the cost of replacing her vehicle. Back in June, we told you about 6 luxury cars being taken from valets. The sheriff's office says there could be more suspects involved.
Right, it's pretty simple. You catch a python, you make money.
Yeah, the Python Challenge is now in full swing. Fox 35's Jordan Bowen explains why thousands of dollars are on the line. Florida's Attorney General is fighting against recreational marijuana. An amendment has enough signatures to get on the ballot next year to let Florida voters decide. But Ashley Moody says the wording misleads voters. Plus, TrueLeave contributed $40 million to this initiative. Even though enough verified signatures were submitted to get on the ballot, that initiative still faces a final hurdle.
It does. The Florida Supreme Court has to approve the ballot wording. And by the way, 7 months after legalizing recreational marijuana in New York State, a 2023 study by Cannabis Global Price Index has named New York City as the world's largest weed-consuming city in the world. 1 gram of it there goes for over $12, making it the 4th most expensive city to get that.
Ballistic technicians retraced the steps of the Parkland school shooter today. They're reenacting that deadly massacre that occurred back in 2018 over a civil case. Former school resource officer Scott Peterson is accused of failing to run into the building. He claimed he did not run inside because he did not know where those shots were coming from. Specialists will try and determine what Peterson was able to hear from outside. He was acquitted in a criminal case in June.
Well, from the courtroom to the campaign trail, former President Donald Trump remaining defiant after being arraigned for 4 criminal counts accusing him of trying to overturn the 2020 election. Fox 35's Caroline Shively with the latest from D.C. Meanwhile, Governor Ron DeSantis also on the campaign trail in Iowa. Today he spoke at a brewing company that's near the border with Minnesota. Later this month, DeSantis will take part in the first Republican presidential debate in Milwaukee. And we take a closer look tonight at the race in Iowa. New York Times Siena poll showing Trump with a commanding lead in the Hawkeye state. He is up over the governor by 24 points at this point.
Florida has a new resident. Alabama head football coach and former Miami Dolphins coach Nick Saban is back here in the Sunshine State. Property records show the 71-year-old purchased a massive home on Jupiter Island. The 1.68-acre property was bought for more than $17 million. But it does not appear the coach is ready to retire just yet. He's gearing up for the Alabama season opener against Middle Tennessee next month.
I can say there are a lot of opposing coaches wishing he'd retire, no doubt about that. Well, the U.S. women's soccer team, they're getting ready for the round of 16 match against Sweden. Now it's time to win or go home for both teams. The U.S. finished as runners-up in their group in what many are calling their most disappointing World Cup performance in years. The Americans only picked up just one win and a pair of draws in the preliminary round. The team, though, not taking that lightly. In fact, Captain Lindsey Horan realizing Sunday morning's challenge ahead.
It's going to be a battle. We know Sweden is a good team. We've seen, the goals that they've scored and playing them in the past, what they can do to expose us as well. And it's more about, what can we do to limit that as much as possible.
And you can watch Team USA take on Sweden Sunday morning right here on Fox 35. Coverage starts at 4 a.m., so get up early. The match starts at 5. This is, of course, the start of the knockout round, so if they win, they move on. If not, it will be the end of the ride for either team.
In the Fox 35 Sports Zone tonight, new technology is the key to helping local athletes get back on the field.
Yeah, even more that we've seen. The simulator is speeding up recovery time. Fox 35's Jessica Ely showing us how it works. Jessica, thanks. Sports technology ever-changing. Well, next on Fox 35 News at 10, one man saying a fishing trip could have cost him his life the moment he knew to go to the hospital after coming in contact with flesh-eating bacteria.
And why this piece of paper and a piano could sell for $4 million.
The Fox 35 Storm Team is backed by Fox Weather. There are hundreds of some of the best meteorologists across the entire country. We are here with you to weather the storm. The Fox 35 Storm Team and the power of Fox Weather, built for Florida weather.
Fox 35 News is brought to you in part by Addition Financial.
Well, Fox 35 exclusive tonight, a fisherman getting a flesh-eating bacteria and living to tell the tale.
He says he got it from the Indian River Lagoon, and he knew within hours something just wasn't right. Fox 35's Esther Bauer talked to a doctor about just how serious this bacteria is. And we heard about this story because of a tip. We are always looking for a good story. You can send us a tip by emailing us at fox35news@fox.com. Well, Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Garner is back with us tonight.
Yeah, we're looking for the weekend. And Brooks, you're saying storms could keep some away from the water this weekend.
Indeed, especially after 2 o'clock. We're going to have a classic Florida setup like summertime style where it's sunny and decent in the morning, but in the afternoon the clouds build and all bets are off. Well, it is Friday night, and it's a nice night to head out on the town. About 80 degrees right now. Just a light wind, no rain on the radar locally. It is a steamy night, high humidity, but that's what you'd expect for August here in the city. Beautiful. As far as the outdoor comfort index goes, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, it's about a 2, but we expect nothing less. In fact, this weekend it may be down to like a 1. The feels like temp about 110 degrees this weekend with all the humidity rolling in. Here's a look at the radar right now. Things quiet here in Orlando, but once you get out towards Citrus County and up to Levy County, we've got what's left of a couple of thunderstorms. This one tracking south toward Crystal River, moving out of the town of Red Level. Love that town name. Named back in the 1800s from the red soils and the level land. That said, the rain is definitely leveling it out even more, producing some puddles. Now, as far as our forecast goes, our Fox model showing a sunshine-filled start to the day, then some scattered downpours developing as soon as 3 o'clock from Jacksonville southwest to Tampa, and then slowly working eastward into Orlando. Now, that said, we'll catch a little bit of a sea breeze interaction toward 5 o'clock, and that should lead to a blossoming of storms, yielding about a 70% chance for rain tomorrow, so it's likely. And keep in mind at the beaches, the storms will make it onto the sand. Sometimes the storms tend to stay west of I-95, or at least of A1A, but in this case, they're going to be moving right onto the beaches. So if you're heading to the sand, if you're heading to the beach, and you see the sky get dark dark to your west, make sure you start to head back to the car because these storms will be moving. As far as how long they'll last, they'll die out in the evening. So let's talk about our wake-up weather. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, a dry start to the day, 79 degrees at 8, up to 84 degrees by 10 o'clock. Let's talk about our central Florida future. Numerous afternoon storms this weekend. A southwest flow off the Gulf of Mexico means heat and humidity will be here to stay. The sea breeze driving the storms each day. The sea breeze will be a result of, the Atlantic sea breeze bumping up against the Gulf flow to the west as high pressure builds into the Bahamas. That thunderstorm and humidity flow is going to be with us for the rest of next week. Good news is that in the tropics, things are quiet, no storms to be found. You know, when you swallow wrong, it makes you cough sometimes. Well, our flow is going to push whatever develops to the west, but not expecting anything to develop. So let's jump to the 7-day forecast. Here you go, low 90s for the next couple of days. Tropics quiet, storms not so quiet. About a 60 to 70% chance for the next 3 days. Luann and Ryan, back to you.
Brooks, thanks. Way to persevere. Well, if you want to beat the rain, you are in luck. See everything hitting the theaters this week. That is coming up next.
Time and Temperature is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Here's a look at what's coming up in sports on Fox 35, sponsored by Kia. Fox 35 brings you the best in sports, whether it's the MLB, the NFL, soccer, WWE, or NASCAR. Fox 35 delivers all year long. From opening day to the championships, we have you covered. The biggest sports are on Fox 35. Brought to you by the 2023 Kia Sportage. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires.
All right, trending now, his voice moved a generation, and now you can own a piece of history. Hundreds of items from iconic frontman Freddie Mercury hitting the auction block. They are currently on public display in London. Among those, his costumes. There's a handwritten draft of Bohemian Rhapsody and his baby grand piano. That is expected to sell for nearly $4 million.
It's about his own history, the moments in his career, his professional career as the great stage master.
And so the items are going to remain on display until September. They'll be then divided up and sold during 6 different auctions.
Those costumes are so cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Somebody's going to pay a big sum for that. Well, if the storms kept you indoors this weekend, there's a lot of new stuff that is hitting the big screen.
Yeah, from a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles adventure to a Jason Statham action-packed sequel. Here's Fox 35's Ashley Dvorkin with a look at what's new in theaters.
Break out the pizza. The heroes in a half shell are back with a full feature film in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. The family-friendly PG adventure follows the Turtle brothers hoping to win the hearts of New Yorkers through heroic acts when they team up with their friend April O'Neil and take on a mysterious crime syndicate. Unleashing an action-packed summer sequel, Jason Statham returns for Meg 2: The Trench, helping lead a research team who is thrown into chaos when a mining operation forces them into a battle for survival.
This album is unbelievable.
Dreamin' Wild is the second chance's true story of singer-songwriter Donnie Emerson, whose album he and his brother recorded as teens suddenly resurfaces and becomes hailed as a masterpiece. The cast includes Casey Affleck, Walton Goggins, and Zooey Deschanel.
We got a 904 on Old Finch Road.
John Travolta and Stephen Dorff are part of the thriller Mobland, about a sheriff investigating a violent robbery, which brings the New Orleans Mafia's revenge-seeking enforcer into town.
That's how the coffee machine works. This is how the blinds work.
In theaters, on digital, and on demand is workplace comedy Corner Office with John Hamm, about a new employee trapped in absurdities of corporate life until he discovers a mysterious room which unleashes his true potential.
Hey, Barbie.
All of these movies join Barbie and Oppenheimer as the two continue to bank big in the top spots at the box office.
That gets your attention because it sure caught mine.
Plus, Disney's PG-13 park ride-inspired Haunted Mansion, still welcoming guests and rounding out the top 3. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
A lot of good options there.
Absolutely. All right, well, we are working on a lot of stories for you coming up at 11.
We are starting with breaking news any minute now. We're going to wait to find new information about the airport scare in Tampa. Passengers at a terminal are now being re-screened through security after some kind of a security scare. We've got a live briefing about the situation expected to start in about 5 minutes, plus this.
A 6-year-old boy has traumatic injuries after falling from this ride here at a theme park in Kissimmee. Coming up next at 11, you'll get a first-person point of view from that ride, as well as what investigators might be looking for.
And weather-wise, this weekend will be defined by the afternoon storms. About a 70% chance for them, so if you have beach plans, heads up. It'll be great in the mornings, but not so ideal in the afternoons. Have an escape plan. I'll show you the future radar coming up.